Alaskans came out, and I want to thank you for that. So we got a whole spate of activity. And this morning I was interviewed, and this is part of my tactic. It's a de facto tactic. It's no genius on my part. Is that when I got shut down by American media and the communications media in corporate America and the Democratic Party, then all I could do was just keep trudging away. It was very discouraging, but all I could do was just hanging in there, because as the others started to drop out, then I knew that they, at some point they'd have to begin to refocus on me. And the first inkling of that took place this morning when, I don't know if you know who David Frost is. He's probably one of the most renowned interviewers in the world. And so I had an interview with him this morning out of London on Al Jazeera. And I couldn't meet their schedule. And so they moved heaven and earth to take me out of Stamford, Connecticut. And so we did a half-hour interview with David Frost. And he introduced me. He says, and now there's 3 Democratic presidential candidates left. There's Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and Senator Mike Gravel. And so that clicked with me, because that was what I was hoping for. Because now the media will have to begin to pay a little bit of attention. People are going to get tired of the same old Barack shtick or the Hillary shtick. And the media is going to want to liven it up a little bit. So they're going to turn to me. And it's not going to be disrespectful, because I'm not a funny in that regard. My record is too outstanding for them to try to marginalize me. So they're going to have to listen. And when I say, well, why am I running? I'm running because I want to empower the American people with the power to make laws. Voting is not power. Power is lawmaking. When you vote, what you do is you give your power away to politicians, who then become lawmakers. They make laws that you have to obey, or you go to jail. And you see that, and I'll use the drug laws as an example, as a metaphor for how bad and how stupid it all is. And so they pass laws making it illegal with respect to all kinds of drugs, when it shouldn't be illegal. It should be something that should be regulated, but not illegal. And so how could they be so stupid? We've got a whole era. Who among you doesn't know that the prohibition of the 20s was a total social failure? In fact, it was not only a social failure, it damaged our whole civilization by creating disrespect for the law. And that's what happens with our drug war right now. When people know that it makes no sense with respect to marijuana, that what it does, it creates a habit of people violating the law, and that creates disrespect for the law. And the law is the only thing that keeps us from the jungle, the savagery of the jungle. And so that is what's so vital to our society. And so when our leadership designs a situation that forces us to have no respect for the law, it doesn't get any worse than that. And so that's, how can we change that? There's only one way, and that is for the people to be able to become lawmakers. Very difficult. I'm talking about something that you're not exposed to normally. Oh, there's 24 states that since the turn of the century have been made at the state and local level can make laws. But it's been controlled by representative government. But in those states, they make better laws. They have better governance than in the states that don't have. Massachusetts is one of those states. California, Arizona, Oregon, Washington. You know, you get a state like Oregon where people pass by initiative. They pass by initiative the ability to people to die with dignity, And you get these other people that say, oh no, you can't die with dignity. We're going to fix it, so you're going to suffer in the last 22 weeks of your life or 24 hours of your life and not have the option to end your life if you can do it rationally and intelligently. Why don't you come on in, there's some seats over here. Get yourself comfortable. So for me, the most important thing of all is to turn around and to have you become lawmakers. And I'm very serious about this. I make the statement and people say, oh, it sounds funny, and it is. It's odd. I'm running for president. If I become outside, anything is possible in politics, understand that. But it doesn't seem likely that I would become president, but you never know. I know of 5 blind polls that show that far and above, I beat Obama and Hillary hands down in blind polls on issues. Problem is that the public that buy into those blind polls, they don't know that I'm the person that buys into those issues that they're for. So I don't know how to change that situation, but I do know this, that who knows what could happen between now and November 3rd. And I will continue to campaign as best I can with what resources I have at my disposal. That's why when Max here called me on the phone and said, would you be willing to come to Harvard? Hell, I'd come to Harvard in a heartbeat to speak to people at Harvard. Because you people are blessed. I'm talking to the elites of the student bodies of the United States. And the same thing when I was at Berkeley. My God, I had 1,000 students that listened to me at Berkeley. And it's awesome. And I spoke at Yale. I got to tell you just quietly, I'm a lot happier being at Harvard than I won't make any comment about the elitist situation, but I spoke here at Harvard too when I was in the Senate, and I detected a slight elitist horror at the time. I don't know at this point, but this doesn't look like an elitist crowd. But let me get back to the point I'm making. I want to empower you as lawmakers. That is the answer to our problems of governance. And I've got 2 chapters in the book. One is chapter 2, which deals with it. The rest of the book is the polemic of all of our problems. And these problems cannot be solved by representative government, but they can only be solved by the people. And when I was saying that people think this is funny, if I am fortunate to become president, I'll be a very unusual president. But in the first 6 months, if you're not empowered as lawmakers, I will bully the American people to adopt the power to make laws. If they choose not to do that, I will quit. I have no desire to be president of the United States if the people are not going to be joining me as lawmakers so that I can be your legislative leader, and now we can make some real changes. We can do away with this military-industrial complex. We can provide for real security. We can do a whole host of things. The Congress will never do it. The Congress will do it. So let me just, I don't want to close on that. I'll have a few choice remarks at the end, but let's open it up to a dialogue rather than a monologue.